They got a lot to say, I got a lot to do. Asking about 3, 4, 5. What about 1 and 2? Hardest candy, they just want mosquito. Easy spicy deal, easy gassy feel. They got a lot to say, I got a lot to do. Asking about 3, 4, 5. What about 1 and 2? Hardest candy, they just want mosquito. Easy splashy deal, easy gassy feel. Jumping in like I'm Corbin Blue. Off of the drama, they telling you. Off of the trauma, off of the llama, off of the gas that they selling you. Came from the dirt, but my petty clean. Gotta stay focused, I'm looking keen. I'm a done dada, so you're the mean. Mama said hustle, yeah, that's my queen. I'm tryna make a super toast. I want the bread, yeah, I want that super loaf. Cooking in the stew with my wrist is looking super cold. It's still hot up in this booth, it's like a super stove.
This first one, this. They want to introduce ourselves.
So this is the group that is presenting the name of Nairobi, or what we also call Nairobbery. So I am Albert, with my colleague Chris, Sasha, and Alfred. So Nairobbery has become the has trend over the months since theft have been occurring for the last 2 months, and memes have been made so that to entertain the people
And lighten the situation.
Yeah. So if you can proceed and start with the first meme.
So the first meme that, according to like the one that we picked out, is in town with my phone in my mouth like this. Okay, I'll attach it there. But yeah, as you can see, there's a way his head is like, it's not like a square, like square shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Like
can,
SpongeBob.
like the phone is like too wide. Maybe this is a tablet because we cannot remember the rest of a phone.
Yes, that's funny. But yeah.
So phones have become one of the targeted objects to be stolen. So this meme, I think it's more or less of what you can say. It's trying to target how phones have become one of the very targeted objects in town. So we've been advised that it's better to find the safety places of putting your phone, otherwise you'll be marked and your phone might be stolen and you cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay, this on the first place, I can say that this basically in the first place is ironic. So from this I can declare that this person supposed that extortions are everywhere in Nairobi, and for that reason he agreed that the best way to be safe is through putting the phone, for example, in his mouth, to be more safe, for himself to be more safe. So based on the social constructivism theory, because our concern was on this theory, of course, I can regard the concept of objectivity coming in there. So in that this person has done so because of his own personal feelings. He has done so not just because of his own personal feelings, but as a result of the the facts on the ground, of course, because of the theft, of course, something like that. Yeah.
So we can move on to the next meme, which says that someone please cook up 4 ninja turtles in the sewers, man. It's about time. So, and then down here we have the Nairobi police boss says crime reduced in the last few months, which technically it's a lie. So what do you think about this meme? Because personally, uh, when you are a fan of this cartoon, this show, Nickelodeon, the story of the Ninja Turtles, you can find how the situation in our city has become so dangerous that such that we need kind of superhero in quotes to come and help us to fight to cope with this situation. And then this next meme down here about the crime boss saying the police boss saying that crime has been reduced, which is contrary to what is happening in reality, shows that how police officers have been paid by these goons or they are trying to cover up their what negligence so that they may not be able to come to cope with this situation. And this is very bad since people are being attacked out there and are being stabbed and others died trying to attack after being attacked by these goons. So these police officers are trying to be idle and it's not good. And others have been paid since most recently some of these people have been arrested, but on Monday, let's say you have been arrested on Friday, but on Monday you are free due to corruption, and it is not good. Any other thoughts you can add?
I think it's a bit funny how I think because this was someone who went to the Citizen TV Kenya polls, so you can imagine that the police are like the main duty of the police is to maintain law and order, and then when people complain of the high crime rates, the first thing they do is to deny, and that's the police who's coming out and saying crime has actually reduced. And I think this post was made on 11th November, so like a few days prior or just in that timeline, we had the Justice for Children thing going around for this boy who was, okay, not a boy, but a student who was, I think, attacked and lost his life along injuries.
Yeah, he was he was a student in Strasbourg, and he was attacked while going to school. And as he was trying to save his project, since according to my understanding, he was a 4th year, so he was about to graduate. As he was about to, because his laptop contained some of the projects that would make him get the qualifications to graduate. And now, since this is the only project he had, so he had to defend the project so that the laptop cannot be taken away and they lose his projects. So he had to attack them. And these guys usually carry guns and knives. So when they are provoked, so they tend to attack us and leave you for dead. So that was the situation.
So I think at the time when this tweet was being made, the Hustlers Fund wasn't released yet. So I think because of the recent elections of the leaders' policies, I think, okay, because this high crime rate also just recently spiked. after the new government came in place. So now, the new reality, according to social constructivism, is that because the new government came into place, there's been a new high crime rate. Therefore,
So the Hustlers Fund was among the manifestos from the Kenya Kwanza, and this was to be used as an economic to increase the economic rate. But since the economy has become too hard, people have sourced new methods, and one of these is through Nairobbery. So people are targeting the youngsters since they have phones and laptops, and phones and laptops are used to, they are very expensive to buy, so they are very costly, so they tend to sell these laptops so that they can be able to sustain themselves due to this bad economy that is happening in our country. Yeah. Usiogope kumpeleka rege concert, aibiwe simu aache text. So this meme is funny, first of all. It also shows how, like most of these concerts, it's usually unsafe to come out with their phones, since guys have the tendency to steal, especially these smartphones, especially when people are making recordings or making selfies. So people are targeting these smartphones. And also, we can understand this person in an anthropological view or lens. You can say that this person is very irritated with people who usually overtext or text a lot to you a lot. So, or have some boring topics when he or she is texting. So this is, we can understand that the person who wrote this meme is a person who has a negative attitude to those people who usually text you or text someone all the time.
I think we can also associate, we can also bring about the perspective of he specifically said really contracts, meaning that there's a high chance, there's a high chance of you being stolen your phone at a really contract than a normal contract read. Yeah.
You can see that reggae people actually have dreads, and there had been a notion that has been going on in Nairobi, or let's say the world, that people that have dreads are actually thieves.
Gangsters. Yeah.
So I think that's all we need. We have we have this one of this is a kind of a conversation where we have Debbie with the good hair saying that why has Nairobi become so unsafe? And then there's this guy who is using the Sheng language. Waziza wanarienga funda sana siku hizi. Kila saa Kidale na Nzagi youth anafikiria vile atapona ndizi afu balance tembo. Sahi Kanairo ni bocho. And then this guy lazima utuambie wenzako wametuficha wapi. So the second person I think is one of those, according to this meme, in my personal view, which by the way can be stand to be corrected, is one of these that usually attack these people or an associate to these memes. And then the third person, I think, is a police officer who has been raised, or his roots has been in those streets that usually use this Sheng language, because he says lazima utuambie wenzako umejificha wapi. So he kind of wants to know, or has that I think he's one of those police force or criminal CID people who's on an investigation to find out who are these beings that are attacking these people. And then this lady Debbie said, "Why is Nairobi so unsafe?" So this response, the second response, is trying to answer the first one, but the lady seems not to understand because maybe her background cannot understand. He's not been socialized to use the Sheng language, but the third one has been socialized so he understands what the second person is saying.
Okay, I don't think that, okay, from my view, I think Debbie was just asking a question. Okay, when I first saw this, I also didn't understand what he said at all. The first one was user, but then the second guy, lazima utuambie wenzako wamejificha wapi. I think he was telling him, because I don't think a lot of people would know what this guy was talking about actually. So I think when he said lazima tuambie wenzako wamejificha wapi, it also brings about like a sort of generalization of if you speak a lot of shared language, there's this general surface one that's easily understood, and then there's this like really deep one that is being talked about here. I think when you do it, someone would suspect that you're a monster or something, you're a thief, because how can you just, yeah, and also, you know that from time to time, languages can be used to hide things from the general people and something like that. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's what I can say about this.
Okay. From the whole conversation, we can see that one of course is uptight on the security of Nairobi and wants to know more why Nairobi has become unsafe. So from the entire conversation, I can reduce the demographic and the theoretical attention to the strict scales at which security is understood in Nairobi. As you can see, the second rejoined the second reply because it is that the person supports or sarcastic the way young people are involved in robbery in Nairobi. So it is widely agreed that engaging in thefts does now on a political perspective that in Nairobi I can say that theft of course is also a way of committing a crime. So theft is also a breach of social norm. Yeah.
Moving on. Next thing, the Nairobi. From this picture, you can see a woman who has carried a handbag and tied it with like sort of a shuka or a rope, something like that. So people have started adapting like you'd rather have your handbag tied to your body other than or carry it in front so that you can keep all your things safe. This losing me this.
Yeah, I also feel I haven't highlighted it here, but hopefully I don't later if I see it again. A certain, like your back can be cut from the side.
It means that side unashuka maji pale after kama umejipaka tomato sauce ndio wezi wajua ushamalizwa. So this meme, in my understanding, what is happening, trending nowadays is that these goods tend to attack you if you resist when you are being robbed. So they tend to stab you and leave you for dead. So this guy is trying to is using this meme as a maybe as a security measure that when you apply yourself to tomato sauce, they will think that they have stabbed you and they have killed you. But the disadvantage I think is that you cannot work with the shirt, especially these bright shirts with the tomato sauce because it may look ironical. Why are you working and you are overbleeding? You should be in hospital or something. But according to this meme, to the context, I think he's trying to put like a security measure against these goods.
Or it's trying to show that when you shook a match hard, just try and make yourself look that you've already been marked so that these things don't.
Because I think archives was also mentioned. Archives was a hotspots for these crimes. So yeah, that's how I got
Moving along, we have the name of Sauti Sol. Should change the venue for it because the carrots are hidden tricks. Yeah, so according to this meme, as she said earlier, that archives and it's a hotspot. Also, the carrot, specific places in the carrot, especially since Sauti Sol were to perform in Italy. Fox Driving, which is next to Italy, which is also next to KCA, which is a which is a hotspot. So this meme is trying to show that people may tend to take advantage of this concert to do robbery, and it is not safe out there in those sites. So they should change their venue that whereby they will not be easily be targeted.
Yeah, we can see over there under the name it's written inatoka concert Managua na sauti ya chakula Gitangu. Even to show that like even if you get robbed there and in case maybe you are at a concert you are having so much fun, you are screaming and maybe you lost your voice, you can't even like scream for help or ask for help. You'll just be finished off and unfortunate for you.
This Sauti Sol concert, being a big concert, you don't want to miss it. And where it is taking place? Actually next to a university, you know that students actually carry laptops and very expensive phones. So this gives actually target some students and see that you can get a handsome review.
Any other points we can continue? I think we can move on to the next meme where Curtis says Nairobi needs Batman. So in my view, it's like the previous meme of someone who should cook up for Ninja Turtles because Batman, for all those who watch DC universe movies, Batman is a hero in Gotham, and Gotham it's a stage whereby crimes usually happen. So Nairobi has been what can we say? Has been used. Okay, has become the hotspot like Gotham, where high crime rates are, carrying these few months. So we need. He says or she says that we need someone who will be able to help us cope with this situation. So Batman in this sense is someone, maybe a police officer or a security guy who will help us to cope with this situation of crimes. And it's also
correlates with
the one
Nairobi.
what got them. It's the same.
Okay, so